And so we reach our third monument, or it would be the fourth monument if Roubaix wasn't postponed. I despair. Liège-Bastogne-Liège, the last of the Ardennes Classics, and the oldest race of all races of this UCI World Tour calendar. Yes, so old, we're talking late 19th century, 1892 to be precise. That's so far back, even Queen Victoria was still on the British throne. Now, this one has a lot of history, and with the most wins made by the GOAT at the record 5 times. With all this, there's no doubt it has its fair share of dramatic and epic moments at the finish, and so here are 5 of them that we have picked out. But before we do that, just a quick reminder to look at our other epic finishes of the last monuments that's gone by, and even some other one-day races that's gone by on this season. Their links will be in the description. Alright, we have to start off with this one from the last year's edition, where we saw Alaphilippe's complete idiocy, but we're not picking it just because of that, even though it is funny looking back at it. We obviously are picking it because of the talent that was with Alaphilippe, such as the first and second place holders of the Tour de France that year, fresh out of it, like Roglic and Pogacar were with them, and even the talented Swiss himself, Mark Hirschi. And it was definitely a showdown to remember because of the ferocity that all these riders were giving it. And of course, we also saw Alaphilippe made a statement of intent, but of course, Roglic wasn't going to let him get it that easily, so like a sneaky bugger that he is, he sneaked up right behind him, and of course the Frenchman didn't realise that he was right behind him on his other side. Thinking that he won, celebrated too early, and then Roglic lunged at the last minute to take the win. You can imagine what Quick-Step's reaction was backstage.
I don't believe it. What a plonker.
This next edition, we finish at the top of the Côte de Saint-Nicolas climb. And it's always these kinds of finishes that makes it more epic by default, literally. With Cannondale's Michael was leading the climb, the Irishman of Quick-Step, Dan Martin, thought, I'm going to ruin this guy's day. And they left the rest of them behind, except for the legendary Spaniard, Valverde, who stayed on him until the end of the climb, and then ruined his day afterwards and took the win for himself, even celebrating early while the others are pushing to catch him. Alright. Me and Ewan on this channel like to undermine this cyclist a bit, but you cannot deny that this was a hell of a win for the Dane Fuglsang. With a crash that could have nearly ended a full season, he recovered from that near career-ending crash and continued on to solo win with a gap of 27 seconds. We returned to the Côte de Saint-Nicolas climb, and it was chaotic between other cyclists. What can be better than that? We had an abundance of riders climbing, but soon as the climb was ending, it was time for those who were not in the red to pounce. At the end, the last 4 riders were Wout Poels, Albacini, Rui Costa and Samuel Sanchez. Sadly for Sanchez, he couldn't keep up with the sprint, and it was Poels that had enough to outdo the other 2, once again as well. Very risky, celebrating very early. Is it some kind of tradition or something that you have to celebrate early in this race? Alright, and now we come to the end, finishing off with the 2015 edition. Now what can be more risky but also epic with about 10 riders together at the finish along with wet conditions? This is a recipe for a risky finish indeed. Don't worry though, no cyclists fell in this race. But on this bunch we had a load of talent that could have won this, such as Julian Alaphilippe, Rodriguez, Rui Costa, Roman Kreuziger, and of course Jakob Fuglsang. But it would be the legendary Spaniard once again, Valverde, that would embarrass these bunch of punchers and sprinters that in theory should have murdered this scrawny tiny rider, but he survived and held on and showed them all up. Even hothead Alaphilippe was livid. We end once again, but don't worry, the first Grand Tour is on its way very soon. That is the Giro d'Italia, and I cannot be any more excited. And of course there'll be more stage races in between, so the season's really kicking off now, and you can imagine that we'll be covering these in live commentaries and other kind of videos ahead, so stay tuned. Like and subscribe, ding the bell icon for more video notifications. That's it for me guys, and as always, have a nice day.
Always be my night sky.